All of us as Christians know that Jesus Christ died and rose for us, and that his death somehow earns us forgiveness and grants us everlasting life. But how does this work?
Up, we'll talk about penal substitution. Now, this is a very common way that people think about Jesus' death. And in this one, God is God the Father judge. This is a bad bunny. It might look like a good bunny, but inside it's a bad bunny full of nothing good but lust, greed, pride, and despair. He wants to punish them for the wrong that they have done against him and against others. But all is not lost. But along came Jesus, the innocent and pure Son of God, who had great compassion on the sinner suffering. He takes the sinner's place under the punishment. So now God and sinner have been reconciled and they are happy. The next theory of atonement we'd like to talk about is Christus Victor, and that's Latin for Christ the Victor. And in this we have the three enemies of sin, death, and the devil. Dun, dun, dun. And these are oppressing humanity, standing against us, inflicting us with wound after wound. But now a champion comes to fight. Here is Christ Jesus. He takes on death on the cross, and as he rises glorious from the grave, sin, death, and devil are no more. Christ stands alone. We can live forever. The next atonement theory we'd like to talk about has a fancy Latin name, but we're just going to call it the bait and switch. And in this one, the devil, here played by our little green bunny, thinks that in the cross it has taken Christ prisoner, that it has won, and that Christ is defeated. And so it takes Christ prisoner down to hell. Satan did his worst. The devil lay defeated, but Christ stands victorious even in the jaws of hell. For the next theory of atonement, we return to the cross. And on the cross, Jesus suffered, and that included bleeding and dying. And there's one belief, especially coming out of the Old Testament, that the blood of Christ cleanses the sinner from his sins or her sins. For our next theory of the atonement, we return to just average bunny. Average man or woman who's in the middle, caught in between life's decisions. Do they go the way of sin, death, and devil and evil, or do they go the way of good, the way of Jesus and the cross? And in this way of thinking about the atonement, the cross epitomizes, exemplifies all human good, and is a moral inspiration and influence on the human who turns towards the good. The next theology of atonement is put forth by liberation theologians, who see the forces of evil oppressing the masses of people, and just the whole human history of suffering, often at the hands of the powerful. Jesus comes along, and he suffers with those who are being oppressed, with those who are on the bottom. And as he dies, he proves that God is with him, and as he rises victorious, he shows that God will ultimately bring them victory as well. We take our average Joe Bunny again, and if you notice, he's got something he's carrying. He's got what we'll call some baggage. He's got his troubles, he's got his problems, he's got the sins he's committed, he's got the things he's suffered in this life. In fact, he even has his human ticket to death. As he goes to the cross and he gives Jesus his baggage, his sin, his death, Jesus takes it on to himself in the cross. He takes the old, he takes the sinner, and he gives the sinner, his beloved child, life, hope, identity, forgiveness, and everlasting light. In short, he gives him all that is Christ's.